Welcome to Leading a Resilient Life, the podcast for anyone who's had to stand back up when life knocked them flat. I'm Lauren Scheider, speaker, author, financial advisor, and resilience advocate. And here we have honest conversations about emotional wellness, healthy relationships, leadership, and the strength it takes to keep going when the road gets hard. This isn't about perfection or hustle. It's about courage. It's about healing. And it's about learning how to lead your life with conviction, with hope, and with resilience, no matter what you're carrying. So take a breath, lean in, and let's talk about what it really means to live and lead a resilient life. Hi, I'm Lauren Scheider. I'm a speaker, author, and financial advisor. And more than anything, I care about helping people build resilient lives, both emotionally and practically. This series is called Leading a Resilient Life, short audio reflections based on the articles I write, created for anyone who wants something steady, thoughtful, and real. Today's piece is called Leading and Leaving a Legacy of Kindness, and it is all too fitting for this Giving Hearts Day season. It examines how leadership extends far beyond results, titles, or organizational success, and how the way we treat people becomes the most enduring measure of our impact. In a world that often celebrates ambition, grit, and results above all else, kindness can be mistakenly dismissed as a soft skill or a feel-good add-on. Yet the leaders who leave the deepest and most enduring legacies often understand something essential. Kindness is not weakness, and leadership does not stop at the office door. When leaders lead with kindness, they don't just influence organizational culture. They shape families. They shape communities and future generations. I would argue that this matters just as much, if not more, than a company's balance sheet or earnings per share. Leading with kindness isn't about being agreeable or avoiding hard decisions. It's about using compassion as a strategic, ethical, and deeply human force, one that guides how we treat people when no one is watching, how we show up under pressure, and how we model values for those who learn from us every single day. The legacy of kindness is not confined to quarterly results. It lives on in the ripple effects of how people carry those values forward. Kindness in business may not always be measured on a spreadsheet, but its effects are undeniable. Organizations that prioritize kindness see improved morale, stronger engagement, healthier collaboration, and greater resilience during change. Employees who feel valued tend to perform better, stay longer, and invest more deeply in their work. But the impact doesn't stop there. When people experience kindness at work, they bring that tone home. They show up more patiently with their families, more present with their children, and more thoughtfully in their communities. Leadership behaviors modeled in professional settings often become the unspoken lessons passed down at dinner tables, in carpools, and during difficult life moments. Acts of kindness, such as checking in without being asked, expressing genuine appreciation, creating psychological safety, reinforce trust and connection. These acts might seem small, but they have a significant impact. Over time, these behaviors become normalized not just inside organizations, but across social networks that extend well beyond them. There's often the myth that kindness and strength can't coexist, that strong leaders must be hard, detached, or relentlessly demanding. Take no prisoners, step on throats, conquer, and repeat. In reality, the most effective leaders demonstrate what might best be described as strength within humanity. Kind leaders practice accountability without cruelty. They tell the truth without humiliating. They set high standards while still recognizing the person beyond and behind the performance. This balance creates trust, not just compliance, and trust is what sustains leadership influence over time. Kindness also plays a critical role in protecting against burnout. Leaders who lead with more empathy are more likely to notice when people are struggling, to normalize rest and recovery, and to model boundaries themselves. In doing so, they send a powerful message, not just to employees, but to families watching from the sidelines. Success does not have to come at the expense of well-being. Kindness truly multiplies. When leaders model kindness, they give others the permission to do the same. Research consistently shows that pro-social behavior spreads. One act of compassion increases the likelihood of another. Within organizations, this becomes culture. Beyond organizations, it becomes a community. And I often remind audiences that the communities we intentionally create have the power to sustain people and, in moments of deep hardship, to quite literally save lives. Employees who feel respected and supportive are more likely to volunteer, to mentor, coach, and lead in their neighborhoods. Children who observe kind leadership, whether from parents, teachers, or community figures, internalize those behaviors as norms. Over time, kindness becomes less of an initiative and more of an identity. This is where true legacy takes shape. Long after a leader changes roles or retires, their influence continues through the behaviors others adopt because of them. Legacy is often measured in titles, revenue, or recognition. But those markers fade quickly. What lasts are the stories people tell, and how they were treated, how they felt under someone's leadership, and what they learned about who they could become. A legacy of kindness shows up when former employees lead differently because of their experiences. When families operate with more compassion because stress wasn't normalized at the cost of service. When communities benefit because leaders choose humanity over ego, even when it's harder. Kindness as a legacy means recognizing that leadership is always on display. Our children watch how we talk about work. They also watch how we treat our partners. Our communities feel the effects of how we manage pressure and how we carry our lives. Our example teaches others what leadership can look like. In a world that often equates legacy with status, leading with kindness offers a more enduring alternative, a legacy of dignity, trust, and connection. When leaders lead with kindness, they don't just shape organizations. They also shape people, and people shape the world. Thanks for listening. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep leading a resilient life.